Hey, happy Wednesday. All right, so a couple minutes late. Sorry about that. Cleaned up my space over the last couple weeks, so had to reorganize a few things, and I am so excited. So I'm going to share with you the More Wishes stamp set tonight. I forgot to say who I was. I'm Nicole from Equally Creative by Nicole, and tonight's all about more wishes, a little bit Christmassy. We are beginning to get into that season. I know I've already done some Christmas stuff, but hey, let's do some more, okay? So I have nothing fully prepared right now. I've been dealing with a headache that started last night, continued into the morning. So I'm going to be putting things together as we go along, and you'll see that it's really not that big of a deal when you have to throw something together last minute. If you have a little bit of some creativity ready to go and some products at your house. So let's get started. I'm going to switch the camera over. All right, perfect. Set this up here so that hopefully you'll be able to see everything nicely. So here is the More Wishes stamp set. I am a sucker for all the stamp sets that have like the block lettering and then the cursive. I just absolutely love that. So sign me up. Haha. I'm already here. Take my money. All of it. No, just kidding. Give me some back. Okay. So the first card we're going to do features super, super simple stamping. So this is something, if you were a first time Christmas card hand making to send out to people, this would be an amazing project to get started with. This out of the way. All right. So I've got some old olive here, and we're going to start with some blending. And we're also going to use a spritz of water. So I have one of our little spritzing tools here, Stampin' Spritzer, and it just has some water in it. You can see I wrote on there with a Sharpie so that I didn't get it confused with my alcohol one, which is right here and dry as a bone because it just evaporates too quickly. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I wanted a square card, I cut this. It is 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, and then you score it in the middle and fold it, and that's how you end up with your 4 1/4 inch square card. Now, dummy me decided that I was going to wash, like do a deep clean, since I was on this clean for the beginning of the Stampin' Up year, right? You got to start with a clean slate, start fresh. I decided to wash all of my blending brushes. They're still wet and they don't seem to ever come clean. So the trick for blending brushes is that you just need a damp microfiber cloth, and you just wipe off whatever might be excess on the top edge of your blending brush. So simple, damp, nice and easy. That way you don't get your ink colors everywhere and mix them. I don't know what I was thinking, but over time, when you've used these when did these come out? 2 years ago? They will store that ink all the way down to the base, and it doesn't come out. All right, so swirl, swirl, swirl. I'm going to start off here because I don't want it super dark when I get it started. And sometimes that ink is nice and heavy, and I'll just keep rubbing this in a circle until I have as much color on there as I need. I'm doing a couple of layers here. And because I wanted it darker in the center, I'll start again in the center and then pull that out in a circular motion. Now the brushes have a little bit of a thin area here. That allows a little bit of flexibility, but I recommend that you put your finger towards the top here just so you don't accidentally have any oopsies. Okay. So that is the blending for this part. Here is my little trick to give it this little splashed look. I'm going to spritz this, and I'm actually going to, let's do this. So I don't want to make too much of a mess. All right. So and it's just enough to give that little subtle excess dimension on there. And then I'm just going to turn this over and make sure any of the excess water that might be on there is gone. I could use our heat tool on the #1 setting, but it's really not that big of a deal. All right, so we are going to use Christmas first. Now on this one, I went ahead and added all of my stamps to the backing of the container here. They do it so that you can easily remove these. So nice. Every now and again, I'll move them into the case, and sometimes I just leave them on their plastic, and I have no rhyme or reason behind it. Just tends to happen. All right, so Christmas is full strength with the same old olive that we used for this backdrop, okay? So let me put this on here. And then I love Cherry Cobbler with Old Olive because they're both dark and rich and just fabulous together. So let's see, I need a Merry Christmas and To You. Or Merry and To You. So I've got Merry right here. And I'll go ahead and stamp that at the top. Like that. And now the To and the You I'm going to place on my grid so that they line up well. They are a little sticky. I mean, that's how they're supposed to be, but I want to make sure I kind of have those together. That looks good. So I'll just take a little bit bigger of a block. And pick both of those up at the same time. Now, when I designed this class, I used one of my favorite sets of embellishments, and unfortunately, they are out of stock and unorderable right now, so I pulled them off of my table. And I was supposed to come up with a good alternative, and I think my process is going to be to use these and these. Both of these are currently available, so that's what we're going to use. So this is iridescent rhinestones, and these are the rhinestone basic jewels. And this just twinkling lights to me, so I love to add that to projects as well. So sometimes you have to make some twists and turns and pivots so that you can have some sparkle on your cards. Okay. Now remember, this was the super simple. I've never stamped before, but I could do this. 2 ink colors, some paper, a couple of blocks, and a blending brush. So obviously anybody can do this. Okay, card number 1. Remember, you can get this card kit for free if you place an order with me. So the website is listed there at the top, and any orders placed by Sunday night qualify. There's also a host code in the description to make sure you include that at checkout. Okay, here is card number 2. Again, I like to do fun, a little bit easy. I like to progress easy to hard if I think about it in enough time in advance. So let's see, I think I used the lemon lime twist for the Mary and garden green for Christmas here. So those are the 2 colors we're going to use. And I'm just going to keep pulling out blocks. Thank goodness I own a million of them. Okay, I'm going to use that 3 times, and then Christmas. Okay. Now, occasionally these will stop being really super sticky, and you can just kind of wash them with a little bit of dish soap, and that'll bring them back to life. Okay. So let's see. This is a standard card base, 4 1/4 by 11. So that's the hot dog style. Okay. Got a little bit of real red going on. This paper here is from the One Horse Open Sleigh, and that is our background here. Go ahead and put this on and get that out of the way. And then we've got a little bit of the Merry Bold and Bright Christmas sweet paper here. I love all of these little Christmas lights. My coworkers were talking about the expense of having somebody come and set up Christmas lights on your house in advance, and then like every year their equipment is there, so it just happens. And whew, I don't even know if we have enough Christmas lights this year to put on our house, so who knows. I just thought it was interesting. If I could, my house would be decorated like a gingerbread house for Christmas every year. All right, so in order to get this look, I am going to stamp from the top in the center, and I'm going to reload every time because I want it to be nice and bold and solid. I don't leave a huge amount of space between each word. Okay. And then I'm going to add in that red ribbon. Oh, we have to finish stamping first. I'm trying to get ahead of myself. I want our Christmas to be nice and bold and go across. So I simply went like this, and there you have it. All right, now we can add that ribbon to the bottom. And I actually did a little trick. I put a tiny bit of adhesive back here because then my my ribbon will stay put while I'm tying it a little bit better. And then, of course, if you have one of our fabulous little tweezer tools, this can help also keep things kind of weighted down and in a good position. So this is just a simple knot that I should probably slide this over and just hold that in place here. And I'll pull that out. And pull this tight and slide that across. And I can lift it off of the adhesive and slide it down to wherever I want, because I do want it just at the bottom here. And I will give it a little snip. I like to do a diagonal shape here. There we go. And then I'm just going to add this layer to the green with some adhesive. And then we'll add the green layer with our dimension adhesive, Stampin' Dimensionals. All right. All right, let's put this on here, and I did put this right at the edge of our designer series paper. And then we will add a couple of our embellishment pieces here. I always get stuck on where to put them all. All right, so that is card number 2. Card number 2 is actually going to have an inside piece so that you'll be able to write a cheery message or a Merry Christmas. If you didn't want to write a lot, you could add an additional stamp on the inside that says Merry Christmas with the same 2 stamps that we used. And then you could just sign. All right, so that's card number 2. Make sure I have that one in there. All right, let's see. Let me move some things out of the way and we'll get down to card number 3. All right, card number 3 is Christmas Wishes. So I am going to grab my Stampin' Scrub and go ahead and clean all of these off because I used everything a little bit differently on here. My favorite tool for cleaning my stamps is the Stampin' Scrub. It works really, really well with fine, intricate stamps. If you don't have one and you find that you have little holes and crevices full of ink still, a Stampin' Scrub is a helpful tool for that. Right, so now we're going to do Christmas wishes. I used a couple of our punches, and I also used Deckled Circle dies to get this cute little background detail here. So let me see if you can see that. All right. And again, I used a little bit of that Bold and Bright, Merry Bold and Bright paper. I am not sure 100% what the name of it is all of a sudden, but I do believe it's Merry Bold and Bright. All right, card base 5.5 inches by 8.5. Yeah, folded at 4.25. Seriously, having some brain farts tonight. And then we've got our circle punches and our deckled circle for the backdrop there. So we will stamp this first, and we will stamp Christmas on here. And I used Real Red and the Lemon Lime Twist. The good news is, even if you forget the name of our paper, if you forget the name of our colors, the pack of paper will actually list the colors on there. So it's Merry Bold and Bright, and you can see the colors are listed here, all the ones that we have. So Lemon Lime Twist, let's see, Blueberry Bushel, Crushed Curry, Granny Apple Green, Melon Mambo, Pool Party, Poppy Parade, and Shaded Spruce. But I think I used Real Red, so we're using Real Red. I could have used Poppy Parade. And we will fussy cut 2 times tonight this Christmas sentiment here. So super simple stamping again, and then fussy cut this part and glue everything together. Sometimes we have easy projects, and sometimes we have lots of coloring and lots of ribbon tying, and it just depends on, I guess, what whim I'm on at the moment when I'm designing things. Do you ever find that you have a genre or a tendency for a certain style? I know my friend Jennifer was talking about how she used to call this bitchy cutting because she really didn't like it. However, now she finds that it's not really that bad, and most of the things you choose to cut out are easier things to cut out and not something super difficult. So I don't think she's quite as bitchy about it these days. All right, so let's go ahead and get these together. So I'm simply using my Stampin' Seal for these flat layers. And then I'm actually going to put a little bit of adhesive in the center of my Christmas here, and I'm going to put that right on top of here. All right, so now we want to assemble the rest of this, okay? So we have our strip here and our color coordination here. So I am simply going to run a bead or a line of this adhesive down the side on the right. This is a directional. And I'm going to leave a slight bit of that color showing, just like this. And then I'll come over here and add some more adhesive. My stuff is a little stringy today. And then I'll put this on the edge of the card. And now I can pop this up on some dimensionals and get it right where I want it on our card. We're going to just plug this in right here. And let's see, I think I'm going to use the rhinestones again. And there we have card number 3. All right, we have one more card for tonight. That's my favorite one. All right, so this one's a little bit of a non-traditional look. And I'm probably gonna throw you off just a little bit. So for this one, I'm using a little bit of silver twine here, and I've got Christmas wishes again. I have used the Something Fancy dies and then fussy cut that Christmas. So because I'm using completely different colors, I have to clean these things off again. So obviously I really like this cursive-y Christmas, but you could do things differently. You could have stamped the Christmas on this large background piece. Really, you could do this any way you want. So this uses the, I think it's called a walk in the woods. Let me double check. A walk in the forest. I had the sentiment, the idea right? So this is the walk in the forest, and this is one of our papers that if you purchase it, we donate some money. So that is one of our fundraiser papers. I used Lost Lagoon and Pretty Peacock for these. And let's see. Your kits will come pre-scored so that you will be able to recreate this pretty easily. You've got all your pieces. We're going to go ahead and stamp first. Here's some fire trucks. I hope people are okay. All right, so I've got to stamp Christmas in my darker color. It just shows up better that way. As you can see, use up those scraps. Nothing goes to waste. And then we have Wishes in Lost Lagoon. Oh, of course. Christmas wishes. Where did I put it? Here we go. Told y'all I didn't have everything out today, so I like to come home from work and get it all ready or do it the night before, but again, wasn't happening. All right, so here we have wishes. we go. Did I do that wrong? What is that? I think it's gonna dry a little bit lighter. Looks different. I don't know. I think it'll be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and fussy cut this one out. Get rid of some of this excess. I am curious if you are left-handed or right-handed, and how, if you are left-handed, were you taught to cut? Because I'm left-handed, very, very left-handed, but I can only cut well with my right hand. It's very weird. And I just assume it's because I didn't have like left-handed scissors often. So, I don't know. Just find it fascinating that you can have a dominant hand but do things with your non-dominant hand. All right, let's put this sucker together. All right. So this was a 4 by 12, and I have it scored at 3/4. Oh, I'm not going to be able to remember it all. I'm sorry. Whew. If I use it in a class to go or a monthly class, you would get those measurements written in a tutorial. So that is where classes are handy. Okay, so I simply glued down this little 3/4 inch flap and then fold it. It's going to cover the right flap. And now I'm turning it to the back and adding my adhesive. And I'm going to center that on this piece of cardstock that is going to become our card base. Okay. And then I open it up and I have an inside piece for writing my message. If you ran out of room, you could flip this over and add another white piece to the back or a lighter color back there. So now let's layer. So I do, again, I'm going to put a little bit of my adhesive to hold this sucker in place while I make a bow. And I'm literally sticking it to the bottom of my work surface here. And of course, because it's paper, I will have to be careful when I pull it up. I might tear it, but if you just put it on your table, you should be all right. Okay, so there is that layer ready to go. Go ahead and, of course, I stuck it down on the wrong side. So I'm going to flip this around because I wasn't thinking straight. There we go. And then I can add some dimensionals just to this side. Because we want to leave the side with the edge of the bow free so that it can overhang. So I found it easiest to open this up and line it up like this to make sure that I was getting those dimensionals in the right place. And now I can add these on dimensionals as well. And I did do 5 on here. So one is going to hold the thread in place. I had to think about that piece for a second. I want to make sure it covers it up. And then I'm just going to center this layer inside the bigger layer. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive along the center of my Christmas and line that one up here. And then we will add some of these fun colored rhinestones here, these iridescent rhinestones. When you send pieces home like this, or send pieces through the mail, you do want to use something to kind of protect this as it is going through the machines at the post office. So you want to use a piece of cardstock or even some little foam as an extra layer. Oop, I was holding that off to the side. All right, so that is card number 4. Let's see. I have a hot mess here. It's not as bad as it could be every week, right? You still are able to see the cards. So again, we have 4 cards available this week, ranging from super, super simple all the way to not too hard, but a little more complicated with a fun fold. All right, I hope that you have a super fantastic rest of your week. The weather is beginning to change where I live, and I'm praying it's not just teasing me because I love it. So I hope that you are enjoying whatever season it is for you, and I will see y'all next Wednesday.